What if you were invited to the greatest banquet of all time? An event so grand, it promises a feast beyond your wildest dreams. But you chose not to go. Could you imagine why? In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus tells the parable of the Great Banquet. A man prepares a magnificent feast and sends out invitations to his friends and community, but as the banquet approaches, those invited begin to make excuses. The invitations go out, but those invited turn their attention elsewhere. One is tending to his new land, another is busy with business endeavors, and another is celebrating a marriage, each preoccupied with something they view as important, even extraordinary in their lives. But what if even these extraordinary moments, this land, this wealth, this celebration, still fall short of the greatest invitation? What if the principle of the banquet they were invited to represents something far beyond the fleeting joys of worldly success and relationships? Are they missing something much greater by focusing on what feels urgent but is temporary? It's not that these things are insignificant. Who wouldn't value land, work, or the joy of marriage? Yet Jesus is pointing to a deeper truth. Sometimes, even the extraordinary can distract us from the ultimate, from the eternal invitation God is offering us. What might seem urgent and important in the moment can still blind us to what God is calling us to. We must ask ourselves, have we ever let the world of man, things such as money, possession, and attention, take precedence over the call to a deeper spiritual journey? Are we aware of when even great things in our life can become distractions from our journey as a believer? I think Jesus is showing us that the true kingdom of God, the great banquet, often requires us to pause, to step away from the demands of life and realize that something more important is being offered. Are we too busy to notice when God calls us? Who are the poor, the blind, and the lame in our society today? Who do we overlook when thinking about God's invitation? And are there areas in our own lives where we feel unworthy of the invitation, yet we are still called? The parable ends with the host's statement, "None of those originally invited will taste my banquet." The warning is clear. When we reject God's invitation by distraction, by indifference, or by excuses, we might miss out on the fullness of life He offers. So we must ask ourselves, are we making excuses when God invites us to something greater? Are we too focused on temporary things that we're losing sight of eternal ones? Are we the ones turning away from the banquet, or are we ready to accept His invitation with open hearts? Luke 14:23. Go out to the roads and country lanes and compel them to come in, so that my house will be full. What will you say when the invitation arrives? What's truly holding you back?